Well, last week was eventful.
There was a little bit of engagement in there, wasn't it?
There was.
As predicted, because it's a hot topic.
We thought there would be.
Mm-hmm.
We thought there would be. But I'm glad we had the discussion.
Well, it had to be done.
It did.
Had to be done. I did see that the post we were referencing did change on the sort
It did.
It did sort of bring on some of the points that we had brought up, so that had already been addressed. So I don't know if someone had mentioned to them already.
I think what the original poster was doing, though, was engaging with people that were speaking to her in the comments to basically correct her.
Mm-hmm.
But, one, A, kind of think the damage is done by that point once it's went out. And two, that's not an isolated incident.
That was literally what I was about to say. Word for word. Isolated. It wasn't isolated. We had seen the same
I've
format.
seen more. I've had content creators since send me stuff akin to that. Do you want me to read it out?
Go on then.
First of all, actually, just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that did engage with the post that we put out, which was obviously a segment of the podcast. Want to thank, first and foremost, the content creators that actually got in touch with us personally, either through the comments on the post and or DMs directly, because I don't know about you, but I had like quite a lot of voice notes from content creators saying they agreed with what we were talking about and fully were behind us in terms of what we were discussing, which was that the language that gets used by some content creators is not accurate. And they wanted to also thank us for bringing it up in more of a respectful and constructive manner than, what we see quite often, which we'll address in this podcast as well, which is basically just shitting on content creators. Because that's not.
Yeah, feels like an easy target.
Well, it's so easy. And it's like...
It's just not on.
No, because nobody should have to deal with that at their work. I mean, nobody should have to deal with that at all.
No one should
general,
have to. No one's. If someone has a legitimate business that makes money doing something, no one else has the right to shit on that business.
No.
People want that service. They've proven that by paying the money for it.
Oh. Okay, you ready? Now this is a post by a magazine with over 100,000 followers.
I think I know. I think I've seen this post.
First we had, so this is the caption first of all, this is not the post, but this is the caption. So first we had photographers, then videographers. Now apparently you need someone whose entire job is to make sure your wedding is properly documented for Instagram. But honestly, with how much weddings have become about the little moments, behind the scenes clips, and instant content, we kind of get it. Would you actually hire a wedding content creator, or is it one more expense you can live without? Yada, yada, yada. Okay, you ready for like what the pictures and that say? The things the official camera might miss. We're going straight for the jugular.
The official camera might miss.
We're just going straight there. No fucking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready for what you might miss?
Fuck. Okay, I'm ready.
Your best friend fixing your veil.
Damn. What?
I've never thought to capture that.
Hang on. What am I looking at?
Oh, guess
what am I looking at?
Bear.
What am I looking at that moment?
I don't know. The butterfly in the corner of the room.
No, not even joking. I have a story.
Is that about the butterfly in the corner of the room?
It is.
Because if you've done that, I've also done that. I literally just done that last week. Not though, can I just point out, not whilst
the dad's walking in the room. Ooh, pretty butterfly. It's an official business. Can I just?
It's like a bat signal.
Can I just quickly tell the story? This is the last wedding I filmed. All right, nothing else was happening in the room. Just to preface that, this was the most interesting thing happening.
Don't lie. The mother of the bride is crying, bawling her eyes out.
Probably after what happened.
After handing a brooch that has been passed down for generations. You missed it, didn't you?
Well, a butterfly flew into the room. Quickly, my eye caught this butterfly flapping around. I was like, oh my God, look, a pretty butterfly. And I started following it around. Did it not fly straight into a spider's web?
Oh, dear.
I'm like, look at this. Oh, no. And then the spider starts attacking it and ravaging it. It's just like this savage moment. I'm like, and I keep filming it. I'm going, And the bride's looking at me go, oh no! And I'm like, I think I need to take a moment.
Well done.
Yeah, but the official camera caught it.
Yeah.
Content creator didn't. Just saying. Just saying. They're not getting that on their stories tomorrow morning.
David Attenborough narration. And here we have a wild butterfly.
Doomed.
From the start. Oh, go away, spam calls. Okay, so, we ready for...
Oh, I don't know if I can recover after the first one, but go on.
Your mum getting emotional.
I've got my anti-emotion filters on my official camera.
Yeah.
What?
I know, but this is the problem, right? This is the problem. This is the narrative that's now getting by a magazine that's got over 100,000 followers. Do you know what I mean? The bridal party dancing in the room. You ready? Your friends hyping you up. The random uncle doing too much on the dance floor. That's the content.
So, in rebuttal to that, the argument that was made last week, which is something that we should bring up, is that I think content creators are aware that we do capture this stuff. Whether or not it fits into the final product, which is the film, is the blurred line. Because we do capture that stuff. But when we film ours on the day, and we only have to make a 10-minute film, we choose which moments to put in there, whereas content creators send everything. And I think that is where the distinction of this blurred line is coming, which is getting confused because we know the truth behind what happens, but with content creation you get everything. And I think that's what this post is trying to make without saying, like, it's not that we miss it, is that we don't include it. And that...
But we do.
We do.
But moments like that we do.
We do.
This, I would say most people would. Come on.
Every single one?
These are quite key moments.
They are key.
Your best friend fixing your veil.
It's very damaging, that. It's very damaging.
That's what I mean, though.
Yes.
It's like the industry's now began to accept this narrative that it's only content creation that captures these things. And obviously, like, a lot of the time, we're capturing the same stuff. And I mean, like...
There's a difference between captured and delivered, though. And I think that is...
I mean, there is, but see if this was a case of, see if the narrative here was, like, the things your official camera might miss your guest mingling whilst you're away on, the couple shoot or whatever, then fair enough, because we're not there, maybe, unless you've got a second shooter. Like, that for instance would be a valid point, but stuff like this, your mum getting emotional, bridal party dancing in the room, your friends hyping you up. I mean, a lot of the time, we're hyping the bridesmaids up to hype the bride up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The language saying that we've missed the shot is
the things the official camera might miss. And it's the seed of doubt that then goes, oh, okay, so they might miss that, but I want that, so I'm gonna have to get. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that I think it's this narrative that is creeping up, and it's now obviously hit like a magazine of over 100,000 followers. That that I think is where I think is. I'm not saying that it's entirely to blame for and absolutely do not condone any of the animosity that obviously like content creators get, but I think it's this friction that's getting caused. Do you know what I mean? Because we see all this stuff all the time, and I would say for the most part, aside from maybe like Facebook groups and stuff, where people have a go at each other because they're keyboard warriors, the discussion doesn't really come up. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, I don't know how many. Well, I mean, I personally haven't listened to that many podcasts that have had the conversation on, for instance, the language that's being used, because I think that's the damaging part.
Well, saying that we missed the moment is very damaging because, as we said last week, it's not that we missed these, but I think what we didn't really touch upon is the deliverables. And it is true that every single moment we film doesn't make it into the final film. That is true.
I would say as a generalization, yes.
If it's interesting enough to make a film, like a friend fixing a veil, would we show a clip of a friend fixing a veil and a mum fixing a veil? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
If we had the choice between the two, we'd probably go for the mum. But it's still a choice. Content creator would capture both of those and deliver them.
Mm-hmm.
That is...
As part of the raw footage.
It's part of the raw footage.
Yeah.
That is a solid argument. It's not that we miss it. It's that you don't see it. What's the difference?
Yeah.
That is the weakness that we have with the current deliverable model that a wedding videographer has. With content creation, you get everything. And videographers are selective.
Yeah, but obviously you've got videographers that will offer raw footage, so then you will get everything.
Well, this is it.
Do you know what I
Like that is the fact. The industry and some content creators speaking for us in terms of what is available. We might miss it, but imagine the language flipped on its head. Moments that content creators might miss. Audio from your speeches. They might miss that. They might not be able to hear what someone says over someone laughing in the audience because they've not mic'd them up. Yes, they can mic them up, but they also might miss that. But imagine that was the language we started to use. Like, moments your content creator might miss. When would we ever say that? But this is when the industry is trying to educate people out with the wedding industry on what content creation and videography is, because there are so many blurred lines. They both offer video, so what is the difference? But saying things that we might... like, the editor of that magazine must not have read that comment and think, oh, that makes sense. Like, clearly not a videographer. They're obviously in journalism and stuff, but that just sounds like terrible editing. In what world does that make us look good? Like, what are we doing at that moment? Where do you think we are?
I know. But this is the problem, and because it's not an isolated incident, that's obviously why we wanted to have the discussion on it. To start having a constructive conversation about the differences in what it is that we do, because really, like you said, the key differences are the speed of delivery, the difference with as standard generally. I'm pretty sure almost all. I don't want to speak for content creators, but I'm pretty sure, 90% if not all, deliver all the raw footage because that's the sell.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you've got like the little reels and stuff like that. The 2 to 3 minute or whatever reels that content creators make. Obviously we'll make teasers varying in length, but 1 minute to 2 minutes, 3 minutes maybe sometimes.
That's the stuff that's visible to the market.
Yes, exactly. So that's the stuff that we as videographers will generally post out. But there's obviously like so much more, because I say that to couples as well. I say I don't really post the longer form films on like my Instagram and my website, just because most people are not going to sit through and watch 15 minutes of someone else's wedding.
Well, it's also a more intimate thing. That
mm-hmm.
product is for you. The shorter product is for you to share with
mm-hmm.
everyone.
A condensed
version, yeah.
Condensed, curated, version of your day.
If your editing backlog is stressing you out, Bride and Groom Video are here to help.
You get a dedicated account manager that matches an editor to your unique style, so your films can get delivered without the overwhelm.
Listeners of That Wedding Videographer podcast get £75 off their first order by using the code TWVP75.
And for UK videographers only, brideandgroom.video have launched a special package price for feature and highlight films just for you.
Plus, you'll also get an extra discount in ceremony and speeches.
This makes it much more cost effective to use brideandgroom.video as your editing studio.
Send your footage, send your brief, and they'll sort the rest.
Hasta la vista, backlog. Looking to upgrade your cameras? Well, let's introduce you to the new Lumix flagships, the S1R2
and the S1 II. Some of the features we love about these cameras are:
on the S1R2, being able to crop in past the APS-C in pixel mode, giving you 3 focal lengths from 1 prime.
And the S1 II is also feisty, giving you 5.1K open gate at 50 frames a second.
Both of these cameras have 100 frames a second with a 1.1 crop.
Plus, both these cameras come with industry-leading IBIS, which Lumix is known for.
Lumix also has a loan scheme which allows you to borrow these cameras for 48 hours so you can try them out and make sure that they're the camera for you.
Not only will they deliver them for free, but they'll also pick them up for free as well.
Use the code TWVP at the Lumix store for 10% off.
Check the link in the show notes below.
I think it'd be quite useful to just talk about or run through some of the comments that that we've seen on the post. So I'm not going to name any names here. I'm just going to like read through comments. I might highlight if it's a videographer that's commenting or a content creator, but this one's obviously a videographer. That they agree obviously with the post. The USP of content creators is the speed, price, and the phone ready element. What they're capturing is basically the same as us, but a lot of the posts that they're seeing would have you believe that the content creators are managing to find a hidden part of the wedding day only they get to witness and capture.
Yeah, like a phone can fit in the room, but a camera can't.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I would agree with that. With, again, not all, like the majority of content creators that I work with don't use that type of marketing. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's been some that I've noticed that they do, but
Enough for this conversation to start up. I mean, even
just it's rife. It's
Yeah.
rife. I mean, there's obviously the magazine kind of talking about it, and there's this insinuation. You know, another videographers see the posts all the time where wedding films are being belittled in order to sell another service. Again, you know, some would agree that we have seen posts like that, much like the original post. Again, unintentional, but still.
it's almost like videography is untouchable. Like, it's fine, have videography, but like, we're also really good, and this is why we're really good, because we'll capture this. And it's okay, we can say the videographer is not going to capture that, because you still got to want a video.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's great. Hire a videographer. But if you want what we're doing, without actually realizing that that's actually
Yeah.
what we do too.
And maybe this is just part of an education for content creators to actually understand what it is that we do. Like, it's not just what you see on Instagram. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this person had commented, I think it's important that other suppliers see what we're really delivering before making statements that reduce wedding films to something they simply aren't. There's so much more to a finished product film than the 30-second clips that we put on Instagram. So I'd agree with that
Mm-hmm.
comment.
Wasn't there someone that said that a content creator told them that they don't work with videographers that don't work with shot lists? Like, every videographer they've worked with has a shot list. I'm sure I saw
in
that.
the comment?
I don't know if I saw it in the comments or I saw it in a DM or something this week, but a videographer had said a content creator they worked with recently, I think it might have been on Facebook, a content creator that worked with a videographer told that videographer that most videographers they work with have shot lists. And I've never heard that.
I mean, I don't really go in my shot list. I mean, there's obviously stuff in your head that you know that you will happen on the day that you kind of tick off as you go, but I don't go with a...
Yeah, it's not really, I've never really worked with a shot list.
No, but maybe that's more of like, I don't know, an editorial thing. I don't know. Maybe,
Yeah, maybe.
like if the client wants something like that. Another videographer. There are plenty of weddings for all sorts of budgets, themes, etc. The people who are kicking off are the people worried. They're in the space where content creators meet the kind of, they've put bottom end videographers, but maybe like a lower budget videographer. We should see anything like this as a way to push ourselves and learn from a different angle. Also agree in terms of, I think at the lower priced end of the market, they probably are starting to see probably more of a hit when it comes, because I think there's a lot there can, for some content creators, there's this kind of like price parity almost, and I think historically when we've seen it, a lot of the older kind of like stuff that's at that same kind of price point, it's very static, it's very fully documentary, maybe like on tripods and stuff like that.
You have to ask, at what point is your product offering something different to the couple?
Yeah.
And I mean, this is even true for people at a higher price point, not just the lower end.
Yeah.
But if you are charging roughly the same price for a content creator and a videographer, in their mind they're thinking, well, what are they getting different? With the content creator, they're going to get 500 to 800 video clips of their wedding day, a full wedding. They're also going to get a few teasers from that. From your low end videography, you're going to get a 4 to 5 minute video, a full ceremony, full speeches.
In some cases, yes, but obviously there's people that are just entering the market that are maybe at again with price parity that are offering what we're offering, but at a much lower price point, because they're trying to get into the market,
Mm-hmm.
But I would say like at that older style of filmmaking that we generally see at that part of the market is, you know, I mean, I've seen on my feed a lot of people that are starting to look at other avenues of work, because that probably there has been that content creators probably have, because the product, in my opinion, a lot of the time it's better. Do you know what I mean? In terms of what some people have offered, because they maybe haven't moved with the times, but in terms of the type of filming that they offer, you know, they're maybe still offering the same style of videography that they were 15, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's inevitable. That's just because that person hasn't moved with the times.
There was another good point made in the comments where all we tend to show on our grid are teasers or, you know,
highlights.
We don't show the moments that build them up without the soundtrack and stuff. Like, not a lot of us do what's called postcards essentially on Instagram, where we just show moments from the day. Those are like, individually to us, we might not think they have an impact, but people watching a wedding go like, oh, look at that cute moment, look at this cute moment. We should be doing a better job of actually showcasing the moments that build our finished product. And I think that's something we could all do a better job of doing.
I agree. More, and then it gets more content out there. Show loads of short form moments.
Not everything has to go viral. Not everything has to be loved by everything in the industry. It just shows what you are capturing. Like, show the clips that make up the things you're looking for. That's how to angle it. Like, these are the things that I pick out on a wedding day that I liked. You know, and just, they can be like little grands watching the wedding photos, or someone like, you know, spilling a canopy and maybe picking it up, which I caught the other day. It was funny. Things like that.
Absolutely. Another videographer. I know the topic is provocative and it's a difficult conversation to have, but our craft is being harmed by this language. Videographers, especially documentary videographers, are losing out because people don't think we film the in-between moments. And that's literally one of the main aims of a full wedding film. I know one thing's for sure, we've been polite and photographers wouldn't have let it go this far if content creators were shooting photo only, saying they shoot the things photographers miss. There would be riots. I kind of agree with that, to be honest. We do need to start having these conversations, because it's got too far twisted in terms of what the difference is. Not every videographer is cinematic. I mean, I do think that if that language, I mean, yes and no. I mean, some of the language though is insinuated that photographers also miss it. Do you know what I mean? So whilst I agree, if that was the main marketing aim, I would agree that there would be a lot of there would be more ambiguity from like photographers. Most of it seems to be aimed at video, but there are some posts out there that you know, with some people describing what the difference is, and it's insinuated that photographers and videographers miss it.
I mean, I think the general theme of all the comments were that the language that has been used by content creators has been kind of damaging, simply because they find gaps in our service and fill that with what they cover, but they've got the gaps wrong. The gaps are, and the immediate gaps are speed, like that they can deliver it quickly because they don't need to do any editing. But the content creators came back, and it was more to do with what I said earlier. These are moments that we do cover. We don't miss them. It's what we choose to include in our deliverables or our full films. Yes, the teasers probably won't have it. The highlight film might not have it. If you order a documentary edit, it's most likely going to have all of those moments put into a sequence rather than just unedited clips. And that's where the misconception happens. But how content creators can communicate that without saying that we miss moments is what needs to be worked on.
I think a lot of it, though, is just a different angle. I mean, I spoke with one content creator who's a bit of a leader in the space, and they also said, you know, the way that they explain it is that the last 10 or 15 years of your life has been documented on your iPhone. So it's like another, why would you not want the best day of your life documented in a similar fashion? That's great. Love that. And that totally makes sense. And that's like that's the angle, you know, that's a great marketing angle to go for.
In the same sense that, you know, if you don't print your pictures out and you lost your phone and no one had access to your iCloud password, would you have access to any of the pictures on your phone? Like, would anyone be able to ever see them? Like, for example, before iCloud came out, did you have a smartphone that took pictures?
Not a smartphone, but I had a phone that took pictures. Terrible quality, yeah.
Well, maybe not a smartphone. Okay, but I remember during college from 2005, I wasn't in college till 2012, but I got an iPhone in 2012. But my iCloud started in 2015. I don't have any images I took on a phone that had a camera
Prior to that?
prior to 2015.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah.
It was on my phone,
In the ether.
in the ether. I didn't print them out.
They're on many a Nokia.
Yeah. They're in some landfill site somewhere, just pictures of me and my college. Unless I uploaded them to Facebook, they don't exist anymore. Bebo. Yeah.
We'd love to get the photos back from Bebo.
Jesus, Bebo.
God knows what's on there.
I want to see who my top friends were back then.
But you know how much love I had.
Oh man, I didn't have much love.
Did you not? I had all the love.
I had
So
to
much
fight for
love.
my love.
Oh, no.
But that's it. Onto that argument. Yes, you've
Totally
documented
makes sense.
last 15
Yeah,
years
yeah,
on
yeah.
your phone.
Yeah.
But there is a flaw to that. There is a flaw to that, and that is those memories are only backed up in one place, and if that is compromised, you have no backup. Physical is definitely advantageous. Not a dig, just an observation.
But I mean, they could copy all those files and put them onto a hard drive. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
couldn't they all?
no, but I know. But I mean, I don't think that's a. I agree with that.
I agree with the
That-
sentiment. Like, yes, why wouldn't you have it on your
Mhm.
phone?
I think that's a great sell, and I could see like that working.
it's the
do you know what I
reason
mean?
why I wish I had it. I
Yeah,
think it was.
same,
yeah.
exact same. Because I'd love to just be able to flick through.
I'd love to
and
go
just
back to
couple
May
of
2024
just
and
watch a couple of videos instead
Yeah.
of maybe
because
totally.
I've got some videos that you guys took at the wedding. When you were walking in the sunset with Austin and that. Got a couple of videos of that. It was great.
Oh yeah, when you
I-
had a full entourage.
Yeah, but I didn't have. That's all I've got. Really,
Yeah.
I want more.
Yeah.
Content
Well-
creator could have done that.
You get married again.
Are you tired of CRM just not getting the basic things right?
Things like being able to customize your brand fully,
Or constantly sending your emails to their spam folder?
or the juicy stuff, getting analytics into performance.
That's why we have made the switch to Wadola.
The CRM built by wedding pros for wedding pros.
It's honestly the prettiest CRM we've ever seen.
To help you make the switch, we're offering 3 months free on Wadola by entering the code TWVP.
Wadola, the community-built CRM for wedding professionals. If you want to give your couples a viewing experience that matches the quality of your films, then VidFlow is the way to go.
Just upload your work, let the couples watch it on their TV, they can view a gallery on their phone, and wrap it up with all your branding so they get the ultimate viewing experience.
Think of it like Netflix, but for wedding films.
Listeners of That Wedding Videographer podcast get 10% off when they use the code TWVP. Hit the link in the show notes to get started.
Level up your wedding film delivery experience today.
Okay, so this is from a content creator that also films weddings as a videographer. As someone who captures weddings as both a content creator and a videographer, totally agree with you guys. I don't think this content creator meant to disregard that videographers capture the same moments too, which I agree with. I don't think it was I don't think there was malice behind it. But the post does read like video somehow treats them as less important, which isn't the reality. Those moments make the film personal to each couple's day. I look out for all of these, whether I'm shooting on an iPhone or a camera, and then it can obviously go both ways. Occasionally, photography, videography can sometimes be just as dismissive as what contents are there to capture. 1000% agree, because we see it all the time in the comments. It's not on. There's obviously been some comments even in this post that are a bit, like we need to watch the tone. And I always think about this as well. As a general rule of thumb, again, this is a generalization, not as not everything, but a lot of the time the content creators, it's female led. A lot of the content creators I work with are also younger females, and the way that some adult men speak to some of these girls, content creators, on, for instance, like Facebook, is appalling. And I'm pretty sure if they had a daughter or have a daughter and someone was speaking to their daughter like that, they would have something to say.
So even the content creator that I'm working with this weekend asked me if I ever worked with a photographer before. And I didn't need to question why they were asking. I went in and said, this photographer actually had a content creator at her wedding.
Right.
She is team content creator. Response? Phew.
Yeah, so like that, because they don't know what they're walking into. Do you know what I mean?
Imagine that at every wedding. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. And I,
Industry, start smartening up.
yeah.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
So, but again, just want to put that out there. We really like videographers are like, again, not everybody, but again, we've all seen it. Some of the way that people speak to content creators, especially online as a keyboard warrior, is frankly disgusting.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who just disregard the industry as like a phase or a fad, or
It's
but
not. It's
not.
a great service and it's here to stay.
It's a great service. It's here to stay. It's been proven. People want it. It's the most popular service in the industry. And yes, you might think it's eating into what it is you do, and maybe that's why you're lashing out, thinking it's not like the service for you. But they belong as much as you do. They've been hired to do a job by the same people who've hired you to do a job.
Yep.
They absolutely deserve your respect. And
Yep.
who doesn't deserve your respect? Like, what have they done to you? Honestly, it winds me up.
So this same content creator, the main difference is in the kit used to capture the wedding, the post-production process, and the turnaround. Content is faster and shorter. From edits to music made for viewing on a phone. Video has a much bigger emphasis on editing for film, storytelling, crafted both visual and audio, color grading, sound design, and usually comes in several deliverables. Full ceremony speeches, doc, cuts, highlights, yada yada yada. Which is why it takes longer than content creators. Content creators also hand over all the raw and edited clips, which are typically short, and allow couples to make their own reels too if they choose. To say videographers don't focus on these moments isn't true, and I go as far to say that content creators are aren't purely behind the scenes either. We're usually right there alongside the photographer and videographer, though the look of each moment can vary hugely depending on who's shooting. Sometimes with a collaborative team, content creators even get to direct couples for certain shots, so it's not all BTS, at least not for me. Would agree on all of that.
100%.
You know, I think it started out as the sale was BTS, and it's obviously morphed into what it is now. I agree with this, and I think the narrative can be confusing for couples and potentially unintentionally takes away from what videographers capture. There's so many moments that might make it into a feature film that social media never sees in the teaser, which could perhaps be contributing to this perception. I think that the initial marketing around content was about also delivering moments you may not see because they weren't worthy of making a highlight film, because not everything can, right? Because you've got a 5-minute window. Truly behind the scenes moments that work as raw footage with the original audio, but would maybe be too random for a film. And as you say, delivering the entirety of a 10 to 20 second moment with audio when a filmmaker might only use a few seconds from it. As well as the speed of delivery and raw footage, obviously a huge selling point of content is capturing your wedding day through an iPhone camera, which is how we're used to preserving memories. When you think about it, the biggest and smallest moments of your life over the last 10 years, graduations, birthdays, holidays, nights out, everyday moments with your friends and family, they were most likely captured on your phone. It's how we're used to seeing and reliving our memories, so why wouldn't you want that version of your wedding too, alongside your beautifully captured, more polished wedding photos and film? There's genuinely so much that I could say on the topic, but I truly believe that both services are different, and that doesn't mean we're capturing completely different things. I agree. Totally agree. Completely agree with your points, guys. I think the narratives being used at times are definitely misleading and almost detrimental to other roles within the media team. It's so important to be transparent with your USPs, and ultimately I think a lot of people in the industry recently have been so carried away with their own marketing that they've forgotten the true core of why we do what we do, to provide the absolute best and most for our couples. I do think it's important to have the conversations to help people understand the dynamics of a media team and what each of us can bring to a wedding day, and I appreciate the respectful, open conversation. What I can't help but notice though is that every conversation about content creators ends up in nastiness in the comment section, even when that wasn't the tone of the original content. To say we are just doing a less good version of what a videographer does, art is subjective by the way, and some people might prefer what's produced on an iPhone. I have such immense respect for what photographers and videographers do, and I'm such an advocate to my couples for having all three perspectives of their day. If you're someone who feels the need to speak negatively about someone else's role and manifest the demise of content creators, that says more about you.
Yeah.
And I agree.
That is what we've said.
Totally agree with all that, and obviously, you know, our comments just there hopefully back that up. And I think that part, that obviously that last part there, if you're someone who feels the need to speak negatively about someone else's role, maybe not the second part, to manifest the demise of videographers or whatever, but that can also be flipped in terms of the way that some of the marketing language is used, you know. and again, I don't think it's intentional, but I think that the two services have definitely, just because there's so many similarities, there's just been this friction that's been caused, and I think we need to try and eradicate it somewhat. There's loads more comments in there. I'm not going to bore everybody to death and just become a narration for our comment section, but I think it's been a worthwhile conversation to have.
And I don't think it's a conversation that's going to stop after week 2. We're not going to have weeks and weeks on this, but this is going to be a topic that comes up over and over again, and I think it's conversations worth having, because if it gets steered down the direction the wrong way for far too long, then there's this animosity and confusion that ends up filling up the industry, and we don't need that, because all we want to do is run a decent business, offer a good service for our clients. We're all here to work together.
Work together. I think that's the main thing. Because see, when we work in synergy, it's great. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love it. Like, I've recommended content creators, and some content creators have recommended me. And that's also like a big, a great thing when you're getting recommended by another vendor. Do you know what I mean?
We just want the industry to stop
more like the bitchiness and that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's one thing. But obviously, publications like you brought up at the beginning of this have gone it completely wrong with their wording. And it's almost like videography has become a bit of content creators would argue that they become a bit of the punching bag. But I would say the biggest loser out of all these conversations has been wedding videography. We're the ones that have taken the biggest hit.
Long term, yeah.
Because all the language keeps saying is that we ain't cutting it with the content. We cannot fulfill everything that you want. And that could be a reflection on the new wave of people who are getting married who want more. And maybe we're not offering enough. Maybe that's something we need to look at. But don't tell us that we're missing moments, because that's not what we're about.
No, because the moments are the fucking film. Do you know what I mean?
Unless there's a butterfly in the room.
It's little moments. Do you know what? Here's a prime example.
Okay,
right?
Let me.
So, just going to finish this off here.
Ooh.
One of my latest teasers, So I included a shot of the bride getting a little hug from, I don't know if it was like one of the page boys or like one of the guest kids, right? And amongst other comments on there, wow, this is amazing, so gorgeous. And then underneath, the bride has went, Dylan's little hug. Do you know what I mean? Like
Dylan's little hug
from a teaser, right? And that will definitely be going in the film. But like, it's even if you look at that teaser itself, there is loads of little moments in there that are captured. Do you know what I mean? Like, a wedding film is comprised of lots of little moments.
Yep.
Like, and to say that to spin the narrative that videographers are not capturing the little moments or might miss the little moments, it's like, well, yeah, but your photographer can miss a little moment, the content creator can miss a little moment. I mean, it's the negative marketing that's shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just needs to get in the bin.
Absolutely.
Let's not sell what others might miss to enhance your service or put another service down to enhance your service, albeit unintentionally. Find a different angle, because there's so many more angles that you could market with that would be way better than that.
I mean, there's 2 points I was thinking which one I was going to bring up. But what Hannah does, who's an artist in the industry in Scotland, she basically does like same day like artistry of dresses and stuff. I don't know how they do that, by the way. It's absolutely insane.
Oh, it's wild, isn't it?
Wild, absolutely wild.
I could sit there and watch her forever.
It's mental.
Because I'm like, how?
Such a great job.
Teach me.
But we were at a wedding, and I saw a moment of 2 grands just sitting watching the wedding portraits go on. I was like, okay, this is a cool moment. That's a moment. That is a moment. Not a big moment, just a
little moment.
A little moment, right? I caught it. I could have stayed quiet. But so the content creator capturing the wedding portraits happening, and I called her over and said, look, come and get this. This is a really cute moment.
Mm-hmm.
Did that. What Hannah does, shared it. It's, it's done things online. It's great. That's working together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I do it all the time. So see, like with the photographer and the content creator, if I see the bride dancing with his mum and they're pointing in the other direction, or like, something of that ilk, I'd be like tapping him on the shoulder, dancing with mum.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Dancing with dad, dancing with granda.
Mhm.
That's another one, because that normally happens like a little bit later.
Yeah.
Like I will actively go out, and that's what being a team player is all about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's making sure that we're lifted as a team and we're working together rather than working against each other or working in competition with each other.
For me,
'Cause
obviously,
they're all different services.
Yeah, because I was second shooting that wedding, so obviously it was easier for me to kind of find moments in that point. But I'm not editing that wedding, so I didn't know what content was going to get shown.
Yeah.
I know that at least the content creator was going to get that moment's caught forever. Working together, that's what it is about. And yes, you could gatekeep stuff and things, but of course we don't need to convince anyone listening to this podcast that we capture moments. We're all videographers here. We know it. We all raised our voice in disgust when you read out that publication about what we do. We don't need to convince anyone here what we're good at capturing. It's about making sure that we're not downgrading what another service is doing, and hopefully learning to educate how we can communicate with content creators so that they can help sell our services to couples more as well.
Yeah.
So let's just all work together and carry on this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, to be honest, it's given me food for thought on because I think I might do some talking into camera stuff that will live on my page that talks about exactly what I do. Do you know what I mean? Like what I do, what I deliver, and how I go about it.
One of the
things that I do capture, just so that we can make it crystal clear. And I think stuff like that would really, really help. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. What we have actually agreed, though, is we are going to get a content creator on in the next kind of few weeks to have a conversation, just to have more of a constructive conversation about, I guess, going forward, and get their take on it as well. So watch out for that. That will probably be within the next kind of month or so, just so that we can get like timelines arranged. But that'll be a good conversation to have, and as a leader in the space.
If you've got any questions that you'd like to ask a content creator, you can make sure to hit us up with anything you'd like to ask them. We have a few questions already, but we're pretty much going to talk about the narrative that's been happening, and just
because I think that's the angle. We know what the difference is between content creators and videographers. We don't need to go into that, but it's more, let's just have a conversation about like the language that's being used, and stuff like that. I think it'll be a worthwhile conversation to have.
100%.
Well, that's all we've got time for this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed that one. We will see you, as always, next week. I've been Jason.
See ya.